The Fireball Mini Cruiser is one of the best mini cruisers I've ever skated. It ticks a lot of boxes for me that a lot of other mini cruisers don't, and you should really consider getting one. And it's special for a couple of reasons. Number one, Fireball only makes 150 of each graphic. They offer 3 graphics. So if you do own one, you'd be one of the few people in the world who has their hands on one, and I just think that's pretty neat. The other thing is that it actually does have a pretty great riding experience, comes with high quality components, and it's pretty functional, and that's really important. Like, your mini cruiser has to work well. Finally, when you do buy it, you get like really cool bits and pieces. You get an enamel pin, a certificate, and a Fireball suite. I just think the suite is a really nice touch. Alright, let's dig into the components. So the Fireball Mini comes with a deck that's 29.5 inches long and about 8.5 inches wide. It firmly puts it in that like sort of very portable size, but because it's a little bit wider than like most mini cruisers, you know, like the dinghy is about 8 inches. At 8.5, the Fireball Mini is more comfortable and more stable than the dinghy. The wideness aids in stability, and this translates to comfortability. You can ride it for longer without your feet getting fatigued, because normally on the dinghy, because it's so small and so narrow, it's so reactive to input, you actually have to work to keep it going in a straight line. That said, this is a mini cruiser and not a distance board, so you will get tired eventually. And next, let's quickly talk about the wheels. The Fireball Mini comes with Fireball Tinder wheels that are about 60mm in height and 81A durometer. These wheels are really surprising. You know, they accelerate quickly and hold on to the momentum well, which is really surprising for a wheel that size. But they absorb a ton of road vibrations and feel comfortable over all sorts of riding environments and road conditions. Like for this Calbro road, they don't reflect too much road vibrations. They felt awesome, and yeah, they're just an awesome like all-terrain. I don't want to say all-terrain, but they're handling the city environment pretty well. Like, I was really impressed. I think I prefer them over some of like the 60mm Easy Hogs. I think these just do cruising a little bit better. The downside is that they are a little grippy and they're not that easy to slide. I don't think a lot of people are going to be sliding this wheel, but yeah, just something to consider. Finally, the bearings are pretty great. There's not much to say, but I don't think you're going to need to replace them at all. And finally, let's talk about what makes this board perform as well as it does. The 129mm wide Paris TKP trucks. I believe this is what makes this board better than the dinghy and the other mini cruisers in the game. The Paris TKPs are both turny and stable. So, okay, how does that make sense? These trucks have a pretty solid center. What that means is that they're not going to turn left or right without a direct input from the rider. So if you're just sort of standing on this board, it's going to continue going straight unless you give it like a deliberate left or right input. I was really surprised because I didn't expect a TKP truck to feel this way. And what that translates to is a comfortable ride. Like I said, you don't have to work pretty hard to keep this board going in a straight line. Also, you can bomb hills pretty fast on this board, so if you're a beginner, I do not recommend you do this. But because the trucks are so stable, like it made doing this, what you're seeing on the screen, pretty easy. That said, when you do give the trucks a deliberate input, they do turn a lot and they turn very quickly. This is a double-edged sword. Because the trucks turn very quickly and because of the tiny wheelbase, you get a board that's very reactive to your inputs, and when you're in a city environment, this allows you to sort of react very quickly to different obstacles, weave in and around people, and you just get a very nimble board. But it's a little bit bad because you end up with a board that's quite twitchy, right? Okay, I know it doesn't make sense. How can the board be stable and then the board be twitchy? It's only twitchy when you start turning, right? And I struggled with this a little bit, and what I ended up having to do was tighten the back truck a little bit, and that sort of like calmed down the turning a little bit, and I got a board that was a little bit easier to manage in the turn, and I highly recommend you to do that. And this is what makes this board much better than the dinghy. The dinghy and tugboat are pretty awesome, the components are great, but the bare TKPs either don't turn enough, as is the case on the tugboat, or they turn too much and don't have that solid center feeling as is on the dinghy. Both are great mini cruisers, but I think the Fireball Mini Cruiser is just a cut above the rest and is in that Goldilocks with. That said, there are some similarly sized mini cruisers in the Landyachtz lineup which I think would work quite similar to the Fireball Mini. And that's it for the review. If you have any questions about this board, feel free to leave them in the comments. If you've skated this board as well, feel free to leave your experience with it in the comments. Always up to see what other people think of a board. And yeah, big thanks to Patreon, big thanks to Fireball for sending me this board to review. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and catch you guys in the next one.